What's up everyone, this is Elijah with the Rideshare Guy, and in this video we're going to be showing you an in-depth and on-screen tutorial on how to complete a Uber Eats delivery. Some things have changed over the years and Uber Eats has a lot more services than it used to be. It used to just be food delivery, but now it's food delivery, alcohol delivery, and also even shopping, as in shopping in the grocery store like Tom Thumb or Walmart or Whole Foods, etc. You want to click on the link in the description, depending on if you just want to do food delivery or if you want to do Uber Eats and rideshare. That will determine which link you click on. If you click just to sign up for Uber Eats, your account will only be approved for deliveries, versus if you click the link that says Uber Eats and rideshare, your account will be approved for rideshare, and then you can add Uber Eats on top of that. If you're already a rideshare driver and you would like to add Uber Eats trips to your app repertoire, if you will, we'll cover later in the tutorial how you can apply for different types of trips when it comes to Uber Eats. It's also important to note that this tutorial will be covering the Uber Eats experience, but not the overall Uber app. We've already made a video covering exactly what everything does inside the Uber app in terms of accessing your account, your earnings, that kind of stuff. We will go into some of that in this tutorial, but only if it's relevant to Uber Eats. But things such as how to contact support or anything involving rideshare won't be covered in this video. With that being said, we'll go ahead and get started. You want to start off by opening the Uber app up and signing in. Once you open up the Uber app, you'll be taken to this screen. You have the option to go online here, or you can click on the map for more options. Let's go ahead and click on the map for more options. Once you've clicked on the map, this is your default screen when it comes to accepting and declining trips on Uber Eats. You can determine exactly what type of trips are coming in by clicking on the filter button right next to where it says you're offline or online. Once you're here, if you signed up to drive for Uber Eats and normal rideshare, you'll have the option of toggling both of them on or just deliveries. For the duration of this tutorial, we'll have the just delivery selected. As you scroll down, you'll see more options to control your rideshare or delivery experience. There's an option called shop and deliver orders. These are orders where you actually go inside of a grocery store, do some shopping, pay for the groceries using your Uber debit card, and then drop those groceries off. We're not going to be talking about shop and delivery in this video because that's going to have its own separate video. When you're on this page, click on see more. Once here, if you scroll down, you'll see the options that you're currently approved for. In terms of delivery, there actually are more options aside from just delivering food. Once you sign up to take Uber Eats delivery requests, you automatically be signed up to deliver food, but you also have the alcohol and the shop and deliver options. We already covered how we'll talk about shop and deliver in another video, but if you want to start delivering alcohol, which will give you access to more orders on Uber Eats, you have the option to do so here. I'm currently approved, but if you have not been approved for this, it will say so on this screen. You will just click on it, and then you'll see the screen where you can apply to start delivering alcohol. Some things to note is you have to be at least 21 or above in order to qualify to deliver alcohol. Let's back out of that, and let's briefly cover the map that you see on the screen. When you selected delivery only, the map will actually change. You'll see exactly what restaurants have the most activity based on what you see on the map. If you click on any one of these restaurant or food icons, it will let you know exactly how busy that area is on the map in terms of restaurant. One thing to keep note is that doesn't mean that this restaurant in particular is busy or not busy, etc. It's just that that's the restaurant that's getting the most orders in that area, so that's the one that's popping up. But the surrounding restaurants can be getting activity too. Now, once you're ready, go ahead and click the go button to go online. Once you're online, requests from Uber Eats can now start coming in, and then you can decide to accept or decline them. This is an example of a request that's coming in. Once the request has come in, you have the option to accept it by clicking the accept button or hit the X button in the top right hand corner of the request to decline it. Once the request pops up, it will show you some information in regards to the delivery. As we can see in this example, this delivery is paying $7.04 and is going about 3.5 miles. The restaurant is Starbucks, and it also shows the general vicinity of where the delivery is going to be. An important thing to keep in mind with this screen is right below the payment, it actually shows guaranteed include tip. This is very important because this means that this is the finite amount that you're going to be guaranteed to get with this delivery. You could end up getting more if the customer decides to tip you more after the delivery is complete, but at the very minimum, you'll get this. Not all trips will actually have this. For example, this same trip could not have the guaranteed include tip. In that case, the amount can actually decrease or increase depending on if the customer changes the tip after the fact. This is something to keep in mind because if you accept the trip without the guaranteed include tip, just keep in mind that the amount that you'll receive can vary when it comes to delivery. This isn't completely true for Uber Eats Shop and Pay order, but we'll be covering that in another video as mentioned before. There are different types of delivery requests that you can receive. The first is food delivery. The second is package delivery. The third is another type of food delivery, but this is called a catering order. And the last is delivering alcohol. The delivery of food delivery, package, and catering pretty much function the same, so we'll be treating them as the same in this tutorial. It's just important to know that these are different types of deliveries. The one that will be a little different will be the alcohol delivery, and when differences arise, we'll be covering them in this tutorial. You'll know a delivery is alcohol delivery because on the screen, it'll say must verify ID. This is going to always be the case for alcohol delivery because people need to be a certain age in order to purchase alcohol in the first place. What we see on the screen now is an example of what's known as a stack trip. This is when you get delivery requests that have been combined. If you were to accept this request, this would mean that you would either be going to multiple restaurants and dropping off at multiple locations, or you might be going to multiple restaurants and dropping off at the same location. It's up to you whether you want to accept a stacked trip or not. In this example, you can see this is 2 deliveries, but I've seen stacked trips go up to 3. You'll know the total amount of requests that have been combined by looking at the number right next to the word where it says delivery on the request. Once the delivery has come in that you're interested in taking, go ahead and click on accept, and then you can move on to the picking up food phase. When you've accepted a delivery, you'll be taken to this screen. On this screen, the map will pop up showing exactly where the restaurant is, what the restaurant is, and how far it is. You can click the navigate button to go ahead and pull up your phone's default GPS settings and start heading to the restaurant. If you scroll down, you'll be able to see the name of the customer and the order number. This will be important because you'll need to show this information to the restaurant so they know who you're picking up for. You can click on the name to show the details of the order to the restaurant. For example, this has the ultimate sampler and French fries. If you encounter any issues, you can click on issue with order. If at some point you need to cancel this delivery, you can do so by clicking the trip support button. Once here, just click on where it says don't want trip. And I'm assuming this is something Uber will fix in the future, but it says don't want trip. If you complete this delivery, you'll be paid for this delivery. That's actually not the case. It's supposed to say you will not be paid for this delivery, but go ahead and click on cancel delivery, and that delivery will be canceled and unassigned from you and assigned to another driver. Keep in mind that if you cancel frequently, this can impact your cancellation rate, which could have an effect on certain features and rewards that you can get using Uber Pro, if you care about that kind of thing. Once you've arrived at the restaurant, go ahead and go inside the restaurant, show them the order number and name of the person you're picking up for, and they'll give you your food. Occasionally, you may bump into a restaurant that requires you to enter the order number on the phone in order to proceed with the pickup process. If that's the case, the order number is always going to be on the receipt of the bag of the food you'll be picking up. You just enter that number and then click on order verified. Regardless if you're required to enter a code or not, you click on verify this order and then slide the button where it says complete pickup. You'll then be taken to this screen where it asks you if you're ready for the next stop. The next stop will depend on what type of order you have. If you have a stacked order, then that means you'll be navigated to pick up at the next restaurant or at the next drop-off location for the customer. If you accepted a stacked order, then your next stop will be the next restaurant you're picking up from. If you've completed all your restaurant pickups or you did not accept a stacked order, your next stop will always be the customer drop-off location. Regardless, go ahead and click on continue to next stop. Now that you have the food, it's time to go ahead and complete the drop-off phase. The screen will automatically show you where the drop-off address is. Just hit the navigate button to pull up your GPS and go ahead and start heading towards the drop-off. Once you arrive at the drop-off location, you'll encounter one of 3 scenarios. The customer will either want you to leave the food at the door, they'll want to meet you at the door, or they'll want to meet you at your car. We'll cover the deliver at door option since that's the majority of what people are choosing nowadays. When you arrive at the drop-off location, you want to look for any instructions that the customer may have left for you that will make the drop-off smoother for you. For example, if a customer is in an apartment complex, most of the time they will leave the apartment number and also the gate code and any additional details. You can use this information to arrive at the customer's drop-off location. Once there, take the food to the drop-off location and then you're going to leave it at the door. You'll then be asked to take a photo of the food at the location in front of the door. Click on Take Photo. And then a small section will appear that will ask you where you left the food. Go ahead and fill out where you left the food. A simple at the door will suffice in this case. And then click on Deliver. And that covers the leave at door scenario. The meet at door scenario is pretty much equivalent to the leave at door. The only difference is you're actually going to be physically handing the food to the customer. So you want to knock on their door or ring the doorbell. They'll answer the door and physically take the food from you. And then you won't need to take a picture of the food in that case. And as far as the meet at the car option, that's pretty self-explanatory. The customer has opted to meet you at the car. So you just pull up at the drop-off location and then wait for the customer to meet you at your vehicle. If they're not outside when you pull up, you might actually want to consider calling them or messaging them to let them know that you've arrived. If you're unable to complete the drop-off, like mentioned, you can call or text them by clicking the message or phone icon right next to the name on this screen. If you message or call the customer, this will actually trigger an 8-minute countdown where if the delivery isn't complete within 8 minutes, you'll have the option to cancel the delivery and still be paid for it. If this scenario ends up playing out and you have to cancel the order, you'll be asked to leave the food in a safe location. This will usually be in front of the customer's drop-off location or as close as you can get to that. Then you would click on cancel delivery and you would still be paid for this delivery. Now that we've covered the food delivery drop-off, it's time to cover how alcohol delivery differs from food delivery because it is a slightly different process. You'll go ahead and go to the drop-off location for the customer. There will never be a leave at door option for dropping off alcohol because you'll need to verify some things with the customer before you can complete the delivery process. Once you arrived at the drop-off location and knocked on the door or rung the doorbell, the customer will answer the door. Once this happens, slide where it says complete delivery, which is at the bottom of the screen. You'll then be asked to verify if the customer seems sober. Assuming they do seem sober, click on customer appears sober. At this point, you want to ask the customer to get their ID ready, but in my experience, they usually come out with the ID already ready. Once this is done, click on start ID verification. Your phone will then enter a scanning mode in which you'll need to scan the customer's ID. An important note here, you want to ask the customer to turn their ID around so that you can scan the barcode on the ID. Because scanning the front of the ID can take a very long time and sometimes it doesn't even work, but scanning their back barcode always works within seconds, so it can save you just an awkward situation where you're just trying to scan this ID and it's taking forever. Just scan the back of it. Once that is done, hand your phone to the customer so that they can go ahead and sign for the alcohol and then click on deliver. And then boom, you've completed the drop-off process. Now that we've covered the delivery process, let's cover some things that still relate to Uber Eats outside the actual delivery experience. If at some point you feel like you need to take a break, you can hit the cup icon on the screen right now. This will pause all incoming requests, and Uber will also pop up some areas that have gas stations if you need to stop for gas. Keep in mind that taking a break only lasts for about a maximum of 20 minutes. After that, Uber will ask if you're ready to go back online, and if you don't get back online, Uber will go ahead and log you off and put you offline. You can press the cone icon to contribute to Uber's information that they can use to notify drivers of what's going on in regards to the road. Kind of similar to what you can do on Waze. If you click the graphs icon right underneath it, you can look at the current trends in your area as far as what are the busiest times. And of course, once you're ready to get back online from your break, just click on the go and this puts you back online. And lastly, if at some point you ever feel like you're in danger, you can click on the shield icon, which will pull up a variety of options that you can choose from, and then you can select the appropriate option given the situation. If you scroll up, You can see your current statuses when it comes to Uber Eats Pro Gold, as well as the various perks you get based on your metrics when it comes to Uber Eats. If you click on the balance icon on the screen, you can actually pull up your weekly summary, which will break down how much you made and how much you made per trip. One thing that I think all drivers should do is scroll down from this section and click on See Earnings Activity. Once here, you can see your earnings and you have the option to send a thanks for those who decide to tip you. I like to do this because it encourages customers to tip, and if there's something we can do to encourage customers to tip more, it's like we're helping ourselves and other fellow drivers out. So I like to click on Send Thanks for Tip at the end of the week or at the beginning of the next week to make sure that I thank all the customers that tipped. That does it for this tutorial. If you have any questions or comments, feel free to leave them in the comment section below. Don't forget to subscribe if you're new and hit that thumbs up button if you found value in this video. This has been Elijah with the Rideshare Guy, and if you have more questions about Uber Eats, we recommend that you check out our Uber Eats playlist where we give more tips and tricks on how to make money delivering with Uber Eats. I will catch you in the next video. Be safe and be profitable, everyone.